Oopsie daisy. Hi, everyone. This is Taylor. Taylor waiting on someone to show up Neely. That's what I am right now. Let me get comfy cozy for you guys. This is just... I'm waiting on Rick Dick Satori to get into my apartment so we can do a little promo on my other podcast, Sober Boys. But in the meantime, I'm just going to do a little warm-up for my very own podcast. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Taylor Neely Show. And we've been doing it for... all of us here at Taylor Neely Show. We've been doing it for... going on, can't even tell you how long we've been going on for. It's been going on that long. It's been great. It's been fun. It's been an experiment. It's been an education. It's been a time where I can learn about myself, because that's really all I'm trying to do out here is learn about myself, learn about Taylor Neely. Almost forgot. Almost forgot to take my brain pills. I almost forgot to take my little brain pills. I like to gobble these suckers up and... I like to gobbler them up and chow them down because they are so tasty. All right, lo and behold, here we are once again. It's good to be here. It's good to see you. Should we do like this? Is this better? What if we do something like this so it's down like here in front of my face? Does that suit the audience well? Does that please them? Because I aim to please. When I got you in my sights, I'm just aiming to please. That's the only thing I'm aiming to do. I don't know, dude. This thing's all messed up. I don't know. Things are never exactly how you want them to be. Things have never ever in my entire life been exactly how I want them to be. But here I am sitting and waiting for Dick Satori to message me so he can come up and we can do a promo for Stand Up for Recovery, which is on Sorry guys, I heard my neighbor, and I get self-conscious when I hear my neighbor because I don't want them to hear me. I don't want them to eavesdrop on the gold that's being mined out here. I don't want them to find what I'm doing. We can't have that. We can't have that at the Taylor Neely Show. So here I am. It's Thursday, September 7th. It's my brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Garrett Neely. You are all of 24 years old. 24 years old today. Incredible. On this day, 24 years ago, Garrett Neely was born. He popped out of my mom's body and was his own body. His body was inside of her body, and now it's not. In 24 years, it's been that way. He's not been in my mom's body. But for 9 months of those 24 years, before that 24 years, my brother Garrett Neely was a body inside of a body. Because that's all we are. We're just bodies inside of bodies. Just bodies never hitting the floor. That song, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, that song is wrong. Intrinsically, that song is incorrect. It's spreading falsehoods and misinformation and miscalculations. That's all that song is doing. That's all it's doing for any of us. So here I am, Thursday, September 7th, 2023. I popped my tire last night, and that was so upsetting. And I can change a tire by myself. It's just like I wasn't expecting it to happen. And I popped it, and this guy... he saw it happen. He's like, "It's flat, bro. It's flat." And I'm like, I had a hunch. I thought I had a hunch, but I popped it on the curb. And it was flat. The tire was flat. And I didn't get mad about it. I was just like, oh, well. And honestly, maybe that speaks to my maturation as a soul, as a character, as a person, my maturation. If I were a wine, I'd be the tastiest little wine there ever were, because I handled it like a champ. And then my friend called AAA took too long, so me and my friend Jason Halsey, we went and changed it ourselves. I didn't really need Jason's help, but I think what was making me apprehensive about doing it myself was because it was on a hill. But once I got it down to a flat space, it was fine. I did it with a little hydraulic jack. I just weep, got it up in the air, changed that tire out, got a new tire. I got one brand new tire on my truck and 3 old tires on my truck that will need to be changed within the year, I bet. I wouldn't be surprised. But how are you? How's everyone doing? Things are good out here. Things are wonderful. I'm going to go to an AA meeting tonight because I need to. I've been slacking there. If I'm being honest, I've been slacking there, but I don't want to drink. I don't want to pour alcohol on any of my problems because my problems are none. I don't have a single problem in my life right now. I have defeated problems. I've been feeling like this lately. I've been feeling like, that the things that I used to fear in life, we're never getting a giant penny. And lo and behold, I have a giant penny. My number one fear as a child was, will I never get a giant penny? And we have it. Giant penny. All my problems. Since giant penny has entered my life, I have been at ease. I have been at ease in my life. But maybe it's this. Maybe it might be giant penny. I mean, maybe we can give Abe Lincoln a kiss on the lips and say, thank you for your service, Abe Lincoln, freeing those people that were enslaved. Or maybe it's, maybe I've just been able to finally reconcile with the fact that any problem in my life is mostly of my own making and worries I didn't even need to worry about in the first place. I didn't need to worry about most things in the first place in my life. They are things I worry about in my brain, and I make them up real big, and they're much bigger than I feel like they are, and I just obsess over them. My brain goes to obsession. Like yesterday, some guy was selling these nice Mizuno MP20 golf clubs on Facebook Marketplace, which I have no business in hitting. MP20 Mizunos. They're blades. They're true blades. They're muscle backs, but they're blades. And blades are notoriously some of the hardest clubs to hit. Very challenging. You got to be a good ball striker. And I'm just an intermediate golfer. I'm about a 14 handicap, and that's shooting in the mid 80s to low 90s, and that's where I've been shooting lately. But I have no business hitting blades, but they're so pretty. They're so pretty. So maybe I'll get some Mizuno Pro 225s, you know? We just got a text from Dick Satori. He's going to be here any minute now, guys, and we're going to promo Stand Up for Recovery. And you know what, guys? Sometimes we just need to do a little warm-up to the podcast. Get into podcast mode. What is podcast mode? It's the mode I'm trying to achieve at most times of my day. Because in my brain, I talk to myself in one way, and then when it comes out of my skull, it comes out a little bit differently than I planned it. Because sometimes in my brain, when I'm saying things, and I'm saying them, and I'm like, these are really funny ideas, and I say them perfectly in my head. But then when it comes out, I get a little bit like, I think what happens is I get like, it's not coming out exactly how it sounded in my head, so that makes me a little bit, I tense up because like, it's not exactly how I planned it, and then it makes it even worse. So maybe I need to live in the moment more. Maybe I need to see that the moment is something I need to live in. I need to move out of my current apartment and move into the moment. I need to find a realtor that can help me move into the moment and live there. I want to buy a house in the moment so I can live there for the rest of my life, because property is the one thing that typically always gains value. It's a good investment, property. And I don't have any property. I don't own a house. My truck I'm financing. My computer's on installment payments. My golf bag's on installment payments. They will be paid off, and technically they are mine because a firm's not going to come and repossess these things. I don't think they're going to do that, and it doesn't affect my credit score. So what happens if you don't pay a firm? What happens? I'm sure it affects your credit score, but they're not coming to repossess these things. No way. No way they're going to come repossess my golf bag once it's used and messed up. But I guess things do get repossessed. Trucks, cars, they get repossessed all the time, especially by that guy Dog the Bounty Hunter. He's a bounty hunter, and his name's Dog. So it's good to be here. It's good to be all right. It's good to be feeling good. It's good to be sober. Because the alternative for me is I could always have been getting drunk or smoking crack or trying to do drugs. Because I've said this time and time again, and I'll say it until I die probably. There is always a little bit of a part inside of me that wants to do drugs, that just wants to get blasted on crack cocaine and drink vodka. And just, I was thinking about it. I was driving, I think it was this morning. No, it was, I was watching a video about the slums of Philadelphia. And I was like, I wonder if these people are getting fucked up. And I'm just like, man, there have been days where I've just been messed up the entire day, and I don't even think about getting fucked up. For me is I don't go out into the world and even try to have fun. It's all in this apartment. I isolate, and I'm in this apartment, and I'm in a shame, just shame, shame comes up around me like a snake that uh shame for me is kind of like two snakes on either side of me, just kind of curling up and just enveloping my whole body. That's what shame is like for me. What's shame like for you? What is shame like for you? I think everything's falling apart. The world is falling apart. Donald Trump is going to go to jail. Joe Biden is a corpse in the ground. And we're giving billions of dollars to Ukraine, but not spending on Maui. Why are we doing this? Why is the United States doing everything? So the government is doing stuff that is just doesn't. Why are we doing these things? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why we're doing these things. I don't understand. I wish I could understand, but I don't. Like, why is there no truth being told? Why are all politicians lying? Why are all of them lying? Is it just money? It must be those sweet, sweet, sweet stacks of cash they're getting. It must be those. It must be those sweet stacks of cash. Because when the ability to get millions and millions of dollars is on the table right in front of you, you can just snatch it. It must be too enticing to have any sort of moral standard at all. There's bigger things going on in the world than I or you or anyone around us will ever even know with the government. There's deep things going on, or maybe they're not. Maybe there's not, and maybe it's all coming untwined right now in front of our very eyes. Maybe the CIA, the FBI, the government is just not as secretive as we thought it was, and the people in power just can't pull their tricks anymore. Tricks cannot be pulled anymore. They've done all the tricks. Their bag of tricks is empty. They've pulled their last trick, and they're just running on momentum right now. And their momentum is slowly coming to a halt. It's like a train that someone put you put a bunch of pennies on a train track to flatten them out. But if you do a bunch of those pennies, that train's going to slow down, and that's the current state of affairs in the United States. Is someone has put a bunch of pennies on the tracks that the United States is running on, and it's slowing us down, and everything is coming off the hinges. The hinges have come off. No amount of WD-40 will fix these hinges. These hinges have blown off once and for the last time. There's a fun romantic part of me in my brain that really would like to see what would happen, though, if everything fell apart and everything fell into disarray and Mad Max was a real thing. But I don't want to go that far. I just want to see what would happen if. Can that happen to the United States? Can the United States fall into despair and just completely collapse? And then there's no one in charge. Because what happened? People would get shot in the streets probably. People would be fighting over goods. Money wouldn't mean anything. I don't know. And I'm just talking out of my butt cheeks right now. Straight out of my butt cheeks, I'm talking out of them. Just Ace Ventura style, like, oh. That's me right now. I'm talking out of my butt. My mouth is butt cheeks, splitting and saying words. That's all I am. When we get down to it, I'm just a pair of butt cheeks spouting words out. I don't have much authority on nothing. I'm a handyman. I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict, a sober one at that. And it's great. It's a great day to be sober. I'm going to go to a meeting. It's incredible. It's going to be good. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I didn't go to a meeting for 2 weeks. I didn't go to a meeting for 2 weeks and I could start to feel myself. Even today, I'm going to be honest with you. Even today, I was like, I don't need it. I don't need AA, even though it's something that has saved my life. I don't need it. And honestly, I'm in a place right now of like, do I really need to be doing the things that are recommended of me by my sponsor? And yeah, I do. But I'm also like, here's where I'm at. Because I no longer in my life want to live in a place where I am like, oh, if I don't go to a meeting for some time, I'm going to drink. It's going to happen. It's 100% certainty going to happen. I'm going to drink if I miss a few meetings, if I'm not keeping up with my program. And maybe this is my self-will. Maybe this is me in self-will being like, I can control this. But what I can control or ask to have some like help in mitigating is my emotions around my feelings. Because I feel a certain way and I think a certain way, and that brings up certain emotions inside of me. I just tooted a little bit. Don't know if you heard, but I'm going to cop to it. Honesty is key. But in my life, I know I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. Those things are facts. Those things are absolutely true. That seems to be something I will deal with for the rest of my entire life. But I don't need to let it does not need to this be my ultimate decider of where my life goes. AA is great. Being sober is great, but that does not define me. It's part of me. Sure, I have a podcast about it, but that podcast is fun, and that podcast is not AA. That podcast is me living my life and expressing myself, and this one too is me expressing myself in a fun, creative way. And at the end of the day, it's all about having a silly time. We're all having a silly time. At the end of the day, we're just trying to have a few chuckle-roonies, throw them out there. Just chuckle. Me and Drew are just trying to chuckle it up. Two chuckle buddies. That's me and Drew. And nothing will ever be the same. Nothing is the same way forever. I think I get caught up in the... I think how my day went today, the series of events that have been happening in my life, I think I get caught up in the idea of like, well, this is finite right now. This is definitely, this is how things are going right now. But so it's definitely going to be this way till the end of time. And that's just not how things are. That's just not how things are not the same forever. They can't be. That'd be crazy if things were the same way forever. So I'm just kind of wrestling with this idea recently of like, I don't even know. I'm not very good at articulating what I'm feeling in my brain. I know that about myself. I'm not good at articulating what my brain is communicating to me. Because my brain is communicating a lot of feelings, and not like I can't put words to these feelings. And I think in pictures, like when someone describes something to me, I think about it in pictures, and that's just how my brain works. But it's really hard for me to articulate it sometimes. And maybe articulation is something that just matures, and as you get older, you get a vocabulary for being able to describe things. But I've always felt like I'm very poor at describing things. I'm very poor at articulating how I'm feeling, what is going on in my brain, how I feel about the world around me. I just don't know. Like when I would get in trouble with my dad as a boy, and I'd get in trouble for smoking weed or not coming home for an hour, and not calling my dad from my friend Wes's phone. I would get in trouble and my dad would like be yelling at me because he was mad because he was worried. He had all the reasons and the right reasons in the world to yell at me. He was vindicated in that. He was justified in that. But my dad would say like, do you have any thoughts about this? And I would just say, I don't know. I froze up. I would freeze up. When I get confronted, I freeze up, and it's way better now. But it happened to me, this girl I was seeing, this girl Connolly, she was mad at me one night because I went and got a tattoo with someone instead of hanging out with her, and she was mad. She was mad, rightfully so. See, people have been mad at me my entire life, rightfully so. People are allowed to be mad at me. I've been a shithead from Middle school until after college, I was a shithead. And I'm not much of a shithead anymore, but I do admit there was a time in college, especially, where I was a selfish shithead. It was alcoholism run riot, self-will run riot, still figuring out what it even means to be an alcoholic. That's just what was going on with me. That's what it was. And that's just true. So that's just how I was as a kid. I just didn't know how to articulate how I was feeling, and I wonder if that's a nature or nurture thing. That might be like a nature thing, or nurture. I don't. Um, I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't know these things. I'm just trying to articulate these things. I'm not a professor. I'm not a teacher. I never ever want to go back to school. Homework stinks. I'm not a reader. I don't read books. I am the kind of guy that likes to come home and watch YouTube videos about golf on my TV, sometimes cars. And now it's college football season. I like college football, but I don't read books. No, thank you. Books are not for me. I like cows. I'll look them in the eyes and be like, you're just kind of a guy in there. I do the same to horses and pigs, any one of those barn animals. I'll do it to all of them. I'm the kind of guy that likes to listen to a podcast at work all day because I'm a handyman. I work for myself. I don't have a boss. These are all things about me, and these are things that are true. Life is going well. Life is going good. And I'm not even thinking about when the next shoe will drop. The next shoe doesn't seem like it's going to drop. I'm not scared. The things that I was fearful of, I don't know. Maybe it's because my finances are in order. All my needs are met. I can afford things I want to. For the most part, I'm not rich. I'm not doing incredibly well financially. I just have a little bit of extra money sometimes to spend on things. Like I blew my tire last night. Tire's done for, shredded on, sidewall shredded on that tire. And I was saying to my friend Jason while he was helping me, I was saying, Jason, it's nice to be in a place in my life where something like this, blowing out my tire, isn't a financial emergency. This doesn't wreck me. I don't need to go on my Instagram story and say, please send me a Venmo for this, because this is literally every last penny of mine is going towards this not even $200 tire. I have money saved up for emergencies like this. I have been able to do that. And I'm not the best with finances. No, I am not. I put a lot of things on a firm. I do. My computer, my golf bag. I probably will with my next golf clubs. My truck is financed. But I know I can afford the payment every month. I do know that. I'm not overextending myself. I'm extending myself a little bit more than I should. The way I'm extending myself is just not the smartest, because I could be saving all that money and saving up and spending it all in one place. But I don't know. It's kind of fun to be able to buy something I don't necessarily want to spend all the money on it at once, but I still want. It's nice to do that. I'm able to get things I normally wouldn't buy, like things I use though, like golf stuff. I love golf. Here's the thing about me, I love golf. Golf is good. Golf is a good time for me. All aboard. All aboard the train. Train's in the station. All aboard. Everyone get on the train. Everyone, what are you doing? Everyone get on the train. Everyone, hey. Quit dilly-dallying. Everybody get on the train. What's going on around here? Hey, can anyone hear me? Oh my God, everyone's frozen. Oh dear God, what's going on? It seems as if everyone on this train platform is frozen, and I'm able to move about willy-nilly, but everyone else is frozen. What has happened? What in the Sam Hill has happened? I guess I could kiss each and every one of these people on the lips right now, and I could get away with it, but that's not right. You're not supposed to kiss people that don't want to be kissed, but they wouldn't know they got kissed. What are you doing? What are you doing, Taylor? Taylor, the train conductor from whatever time period this is. You can't do that. That's wrong. Now, what I could do is switch everybody's clothes. I could switch everybody's clothes, and then once time gets unfrozen, everyone's going to be like, well, you're wearing my clothes. I'm wearing your clothes. No, because then I'd see everyone naked. Taylor, you can't do that. You can't do that. What's a man to do with time being frozen as such? What's a man to do with all the time in the world in his hands? I guess I'll just, well, I don't know. I guess I'll just stand here and wait for time to unfreeze. And, all right, guys. I'll be back after this interview with Dick Satori. All right, running right along with it. Here we go. The river runs through it. Oh my gosh, what an incredible time to be here. What an incredible time to be back. I recorded the beginning of this episode previously, and I have no idea if I'm going to include that in here because I don't remember, it was like last week, and now it's this week. It's a whole new week. It is September 12th, 2023, and it's good to be here, good to be in this room. How's everyone doing? Is everyone doing peachy keen? Is everyone letting any problem that might be in their life kind of maybe run off their water like a duck's back? Run off their duck's back like water. That's what you got to do. It's what I've been told I got to do more of, is let my problems run off my back like water off a duck's. My problems off a duck's back. Problems off a duck's back. Water like a duck's back off how water is on a duck's back. Like if, say a duck's a horse, and the problems are me, and I'm water. So the duck is a horse. I'm the cowboy riding the horse, but the horse is a duck, and I am water. And that horse bucks me off. That's what you got to do with your problems, is buck them off as you see fit, you know? Some things you got to let go. Some things you got to let fester. You need to let some things fester and ruminate and kind of boil inside of you until they reach a breaking point, and then you lash out at your loved ones. Sometimes that has to happen, so you realize, I can't do this. I can't do this to my loved ones. It's cruel and mean-spirited to take out my negative mind on my loved ones. So that's why I live by myself. So I don't scream at people. I just scream at my neighbors in my head. So anyways, that's what's been going on with me. I started recording the beginning of this episode, and I don't know if I'm going to include it or if this is the new episode, because I'm going to be in a different t-shirt. If you're watching this on YouTube where I am posting the video, I will be in a different t-shirt. I will not be in this beautiful t-shirt, just happy to be here, which I am amongst other things. I'm not always just one thing, though. I am a culmination of many emotions all at once that kind of greet each other somewhere in the middle of me. That's where my emotions kind of sit. My emotions are a bunch at once, happening so fast, and I don't know how to articulate them sometimes. And I've been trying to articulate that idea to people recently, that I don't know how to articulate how I'm feeling. In so that I'm going to pause, please. And don't know how to articulate my feelings. By that I mean I feel them in my head and kind of like pictures. I've been on this kick lately where I feel like I'm talking about like how I feel, how I think. It's mostly in pictures. Like if you're explaining to me a bunch of cattle in a field right now, I'm picturing a rolling field, wooden fence. There's a bull there. There's a white cow, but there's also a bull. He's kind of beige and brown. And this hill is in southeastern Ohio, but also out west somewhere at the same time, because it's kind of like how dreams are. Like you're in this one place, but it's also this place. Like I've had dreams where I'm like, this is an abandoned house, but it's also my house from growing up, and I know it's not, but in the dream it is for some reason. Sometimes things in dreams are a certain way, and that's just simply how they are in that dream that day. That night, rather. That's just how they are. And just for some reason in my dream, I know that's what's going on. But hey, it's good to be here. I hope you're having good dreams. I hope the dreams you're having lately are the kind of dreams you wake up from like, oh, wow, what an incredible dream that was. I certainly don't hope they're the dreams where you wake up from them like, oh, thank God. Because I went down to Savannah, Georgia I did my show Riff Raff down there this past weekend. And my friend Jason Halsey and AJ were saying like they've been having bad dreams recently. Like one of them was saying like, yeah, if I'm not drinking, I'm having horrible dreams. And that sounds a little bad for your psyche to I got to drink otherwise the bad dreams come. I got to drink to keep the bad dreams at bay. If I don't drink, man, it's Nightmare City for me. I'm the mayor of Nightmare City. And I'm the only person in Nightmare City. The rest of what's in Nightmare City is ghouls and goblins and ghoulish figures. But on the way down to Savannah, we played a really fun game in my truck. We played Pinch Taylor as many times as we can. Well, everyone in the truck, Reed, AJ, and Jason, said it was the coolest game ever. And I didn't really understand how it was cool. It kind of hurt. I have bruises on my body from where I got pinched. But AJ and Jason and Reed swore up and down that this is the coolest game you will ever play. So I said, I'll entertain it. And then they pinched me and pinched me and pinched me. And I'm still kind of grappling with why was that the most fun game ever? Why did that game even get brought up? I was driving. We could have crashed. And it did rain a lot, so I don't know. I feel like it was kind of a dangerous game to play, especially with the driver. Maybe if we pinched AJ a bunch, that would have been cool. That would have been fine. But pinching me exclusively while I'm driving, that didn't make any sense. And I don't understand. And I've asked AJ and Reed and Jason, like, what the heck was up with that? And they haven't given me an answer. They said, you don't get it. I don't like not getting things. Well, growing up, I just didn't get things. And I'd feel left out. I think that's one of the things that led to me drinking a lot because it would alleviate that feeling of feeling left out. Here's one thing I remembered recently. I was watching a video of Post Malone on YouTube, and he was getting a 6-wheeled vehicle delivered. And it was at a time when already drinking had become a problem for me, but I was still drinking. And I was like, oh man, Post Malone, he's rich and he's multi-millionaire. And he's getting a 6-wheel vehicle and he has Bud Lights and some fridges just of Bud Light. He's basically drinking Bud Light as water. I mean, if Post Malone can... Maybe I explained this on a previous podcast where I said I'm not Post Malone. But if Post Malone can live his life drunk all the time, I can do it too. That's one thing I liked about alcohol is it made me feel a part of while brutally separating me from everything. It was a trick. Alcohol is a dirty trick for me. For this alcoholic, I can't do it. I can't do it because what alcohol does for me, it does not do to other people. At least I don't know. I don't know what it does to other people. I just know what it does for me, and for me, it's a thing I cannot have in my life. And I'm doing real good right now with that. I'm the most, God, guys, I'm sorry. My eyes are, it's like my eyes are leaving. All right, we pause. Sometimes we pause a little bit to take a sip of hot coffee. So what was I talking about? I forgot. Coffee, water, Post Malone, AJ, Riff Raft. Man, I forgot completely. It was going somewhere. Really decent. But that's okay. That's okay, guys. Sometimes you forget. Sometimes you get lost in your eyes feeling like there's a bunch of gunk in them. And I will never forgive myself, but I will. I remember now. See, I just had to ramble till I got to it. I'm a rambler, man. I get to it. I'm gonna forget what I want. I'm gonna ramble on it. Oh shoot. No, yeah, I almost made myself forget, but I did not forget. Recently I felt the most creatively fulfilled I've ever felt in my entire life. And I don't know what to attribute that to. Attribute that to comedy going fine. Maybe doing 2 podcasts, which is too many podcasts. You shouldn't. One is, there's so many podcasts, but doing them has given me this freedom of like, I feel like I have so much agency over my entire life. Like, one, I'm my own boss. I'm a handyman. I'm my own boss. I'm in charge of my own schedule for the most part. My client yesterday said, hey, can you take Monday off? I'm like, you bet your sweet butt cheeks I can. You bet those. Yep, sweet, still sweet. Yep, sweetest butt cheeks I've ever seen. I've ever tasted in my life. You bet your sweet butt cheeks I can take the day off on Monday. I just golfed. I golfed with J.C. Smith, Atlanta comic, and we golfed. And I'm learning a lot about golf recently, and I really want some Mizuno Pro 225s. I really want those. They're beautiful clubs, and that's what I'm obsessing about lately is getting a set of Mizuno Pro 225s. Most beautiful irons I've ever seen. The fit and finish. Ooh-wee, they look good. They look good in my bag. I'm just saying, Mizuno, they look really good in my bag. Hey, Mizuno, how can I get a pair of free Mizuno Pro 225s? I feel like my golf game has reached that point where I have the ability to play these. They are not blades. They look like blades, but they're dirty little tricks. And they're playable. They're very playable and forgiving for clubs that look like a traditional blade. But creatively fulfilled. So I'm doing these podcasts, and they just seem to putting out clips and stuff. Doing these, I'm in charge of everything I'm in charge of all the things like creatively work. These things where traditionally I would have had to answer to someone. I don't have to answer to anybody, so I can do whatever I want with these things. I can do whatever I want with work too. As a handyman, I can take on jobs. I can not take on jobs. The work is, I have my skill set now. I know what I'm good at right now. I'm on a big painting job. Painting, easy peasy for me to do painting. I could paint all day. And I've set up hours too where I'm not brutally killing myself, because the last time I relapsed was not, I'm going to say it's because I did not treat myself well. I overworked myself to the point of thinking a drink was a good idea, and I drank and smoked crystal meth and smoked crack and ate a bunch of pain pills, and it was a buffet. I went to the Chinese buffet, and at this Chinese buffet, they had twisted tea, and they had methamphetamine, and they had crack cocaine, worst crack ever, decent meth, and pain pills. That's what they had at this buffet, and I gobbled it all up until it was all gone. Meth is a very interesting experience. This is the first time I've ever, that time, which was 90 some days ago or whatever, when I got started, that relapse, it lasted about 2-3 weeks, and now we're back. We're doing good. Things are great. But this meth is, I was talking to my friend AJ on the phone one night when I smoked meth. I said, yeah, you sound a lot, when I talked to him later, he said, yeah, you sound a lot better today. And I was like, what did I sound like on meth? He's like, you were really amped up. And yeah, meth just really amps you up. I stayed awake for probably well over 24 hours. From the previous day, having just had been awake, from regular being awake to being fucked up being awake. But meth will keep you awake. But this, and that's, I'm not glorifying it. I'm just saying that was my experience. I do, talking about drugs is okay. It doesn't, there is a way you could talk about them that it doesn't glorify. Glorifying it is like, man, ain't crack the best? Ain't Oxycontin just a hoot and a holler? Who damn, what I do to chomp down on an opium poppy and go into sweet, sweet bliss, that warm blanket of opiate bliss all over my body. That's what I wish I could do to myself right now. And that's just a guy saying that. That's not what I did. I think talking about drugs can be a little healthy and a reminder of the madness that alcoholism and drug addiction, where it can, just like how my mind obsesses over that thing in the way that it obsesses over Mizuno Pro 225s, getting a new set of golf clubs, getting a new golf bag, getting a pair of, right now, I really want to go to Walmart and get some Dickies Duck Carpenter jeans and a white Wrangler shirt. I want that. I looked at them while I was waiting for my truck to get a new tire, which I blew the tire last week. Oopsies. Sorry. Sorry to my tire. I didn't mean to. My bad. But I was there. I was like, I want to get this. It's like a whole outfit. T-shirt, jeans. So simple outfit. But I withheld that day, but I will get obsessive over anything and everything. Anything I can. Ordering, gotta fix this thing right now. My paint sprayer, my commercial paint sprayer, I need to get a suction in hose and the exit hose or whatever, because for some reason the hoses got brittle and I need to get new ones. I think that's just a part that degrades over time, but I'm not obsessively thinking about it. That is something I used to have been obsessively thinking about, but honestly, in my life right now, I'm in a place where I'm not obsessing over too much. The Mizuno 225s, I'm working through this, guys. Let me work through it. That is something I am obsessing over, but not to a point. I will get it at some point, but not right now. I'm not. I come home from comedy late, look at them for a second, lust over them, beautiful clubs, they would look in my bag, I bet I could hit them pretty good. But what I need to do is save up my money, go get a fitting at the Mizuno place at the Battery here in Atlanta, and lo and behold, we'll get it eventually. It'll work out. But for right now, my Callaway Maverick Maxes will do. So I don't know, guys. Anyone else feel like that out there? Anybody else ever feel like I gotta get this thing right now in my life because that will complete me as a man? If I were to get this thing in my life that I want, it would be. I mean, it's like anything, like getting a new truck. And like when I was truck shopping for about a month or so, it was something. It would just occupy my mind. I would look at trucks all the time, and once I was getting close, I was like, I gotta go. And then I went to a dealership one day, and this guy tried to keep me there forever, and I just didn't want to truck shop anymore. And whatever. It's exhausting thinking that much. Ain't it exhausting? Just thinking about so many different things. I did this cool thing, Lainey Castle, Atlanta. She dabbles in comedy. She's a fitness gal. She helps other people with their fitness. She helps other people with their health. She knows diet. She knows exercise. She knows health. She is fitness girl. Is it a dumbbell? Is it a lat pull-down machine? No, it's Lainey Castle. She does this show, just an interview show, but she had me on it. I golfed, and she interviewed me while I golfed, and that didn't work out as better until the better it worked out was at the end when we sat down at this gazebo, and she interviewed me there, and it was really nice that this, like, she got a lot out of me. I was able to really talk, and it felt like she pulled stuff out. That's what about a good conversation is. It feels like what you're trying to say is, what I'm trying to say is really articulated well, and it's almost pulled out of me. I was listening to Theo Vaughn's podcast today, and he had this philosopher type guy on there, and at the end he was saying, "Thanks, Theo, whatever. I feel like you really pulled some stuff out of me today." And it just felt like Lainey pulled some stuff out of me today. And I felt like I was really able to articulate how I was truly feeling. And maybe that's also just doing this podcast is helping me articulate how I'm feeling better. Just able to explain myself. Because as a kid, I just could not explain myself. You know, I could not explain myself to my dad when I was in trouble. I couldn't explain myself. I just couldn't explain how I was feeling because I was feeling so many things. And I just didn't have the words for it. And I would get nervous. And when I get nervous, the words leave. The words are gone. That's just what it's like for me. That is just what it's like for me. And right now, this is the most articulate I think I've ever been in my life. I'm not saying in this moment, this podcast specifically. I'm saying where I'm at in this phase of my development in my life, my brain is finally able to have some fucking brain muscles and shoot out the words I've been asking it to for a long time. God, is it that hard, brain? Is it that hard to just give me the words I'm looking for? Because I'm looking for them. You're not being much help at all. And maybe my brain's mad at me. Maybe my brain gets mad at me because I pour drugs on it. I'm sorry, brain. I'm sorry, brain. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mr. Brain. Will you ever forgive me? Will you ever forgive me, Mr. Brain? And for those of you listening, I'm holding my head because that's where my brain is. It's inside of my skull. I'm so sorry, brain. I never, ever meant to hurt you. I never meant to make you hurt. That's what I never meant to do. So I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me. Let's make a formal amends to my brain. Hey, brain, it's good to see you. I just wanted to talk to you today because I just wanted to say some things that have really been on my mind lately, and I think it would do me some good to clean my side of the street. The behavior I have taken part of in my life towards you has been destructive and selfish and harmful and self-serving, and for that I am sorry. And I'm living a way of life now that I try my best on every single day to not live like a piece of shit anymore. And part of that is making this formal amends to you. So, brain, I just do say I recognize that my behavior in the past has been alarming and negative and wrong, and I've treated you like shit. So can we I would like if we could get past this. If there's anything I could do, brain, that would aid in you forgiving me or gain your trust back, I will do it. Just let me know. Again, I am sorry for anything in the past that I've done wrong. I'm trying my best to live a life of sobriety and recovery. So I love you, brain. So that's kind of an amends I made to my brain right there. No big deal. No big deal. Just most honest guy in the room right now. Just most honest, nicest guy in the room right now. Not like it means nothing or anything. Just like it is what it is. But like I just made a big apology to my brain, and you guys are acting like I didn't do that at all. You guys are acting like it didn't take a lot of balls to come up here and say these things to my own brain. You're acting like I didn't just take a chance there for my brain to then seep out of my ears and go out the door. You're kind of acting like that. You're kind of acting like I'm not a big man. You're acting like I'm not a really big, strong man right now, and I would appreciate if you, in your brain, you saw me as a big man with muscles and a big, strong heart and like really thick traps and like big biceps and an even better mustache, even though this one's pretty good, and like one of those hats that gay guys wear in the cartoons, like a police hat, but it's a gay man's hat, and I'm like wearing a leather daddy outfit, and that's what you should see me as right now because I just did that really vulnerable thing in front of you. That's what I do. I give and I give and I give, and I don't want anything in return. I don't need anything in return because what I get is the satisfaction of knowing I've done a good deed. That's all I need. Speaking of good deeds, Friday night I did this open mic in Doraville, Georgia, and I was in the Doraville area, and on Buford Highway there's a place called Taco Veloz, and my current sponsor, it's where we met for the first time, and they have a carne asada super burrito is what I ordered, but on the way there, there's a busy highway type road, a big, like 55 mile per hour road, 4 lanes, and it's by the Porsche dealership, and there's a turnoff that looks like onto a highway, but it's not. It's just onto another, you can go fast kind of road, but not quite a highway. I can't explain it better than that. I'm trying my best. But as I'm getting to this turnoff, I see in front of me like this, it looked like a bike, a couple of bikes fell over, like a few people maybe on a bike, but as I got closer, it was one guy. He had a bike, and behind him he was pulling what should be a kid stroller, but all his possessions were in it. And then on the back was a bunch of stuff on that thing too. So this guy I deduced he was a homeless guy, and he was pulling his stuff, and it just fell over. It just got too top heavy because he had too much stuff on there. And he was his own little train of things. It was kind of impressive, the amount of stuff he was able to pull with a bike, but he fell over, and he was like pulling his stuff. He's trying his damnedest to get it out of the road. And my first thought was, how can I get around this guy? This is annoying. This is in my way. But as I got closer and I realized what was going on, my first thought was, if I'm being honest, how can I get around this guy because he's in the way? But then the second thought came, because it's like you're not responsible for your first thought, but you are responsible for your second thought. And my second thought was, I can get out and help this guy. This is my opportunity to be a good boy. But I got out and I went and helped him pull his shit on the sidewalk. And it was kind of cumbersome to get onto the sidewalk. It was a lot of stuff. But we figured it out. We maneuvered it onto the sidewalk. And then I helped him. And I was happy to help. So happy to help. But then another thought came like, oh, should I give this guy money? He didn't ask me for money, but then I was like, should I give this guy money? And I didn't, because there was part of me that's like, no, you helped. You did the good thing. But there is also part of me that's like, what if you had given him money? He fell over on his bike. His home fell over. He knocked his own house over. And what could a couple of bucks help him figure out how to not tip his home over anymore? But I didn't give him any money. I think he was grateful for me helping him. But as I was going to the Taco Veloz, I started to get just a little emotional and like just a little like the beginnings of some tears. Just because like, man, that guy's life is so different than mine. His life is hard. On a daily basis, his life is very difficult. And what made me sad, I think, is I was able to relate to that feeling of embarrassment. Like he was fighting to get his stuff on the sidewalk. And I think that's what made me emotional, was like the feeling of like, God, I don't want to, this is so embarrassing. My fucking house fell over and I don't want to, God, I'm inconveniencing. This is just, the shame of like, this is all I have, this house. And I don't know, this is all just stuff I'm thinking about. I don't know what this guy thinks. Maybe he enjoys having his house on the back of a bike. I don't know this guy. I just know how I was feeling about it in the moment. And there wasn't much more I could do than that. And it came and it went, but I did a good thing. And I know that's the right thing to do. And it's nothing to get an award or millions of dollars. Would be nice. Millions of dollars. Just saying. JP Morgan Chase, just saying. But that's all you get. That's all I get in that situation. I don't get any more. I don't get karma points. Maybe I do. I don't get an award. I get to feel good that knowing I did the right thing. It feels good to do the right thing. Even though my brain always goes to a selfish place. It always goes to the place first and foremostly. This is interrupting my plan for the night. How can I adjust my plan so it takes as little out of my plan as much as possible? And then the second thought, that's the first thought. Second thought is then, wait a minute. This really isn't that inconvenient for me to help someone. It really isn't that inconvenient to help someone. It really is not, especially then and there. And I think I get more out of like giving a homeless person a sandwich than I do like money. Like if I've done it a couple times, not a bunch of times, but I've been helpful Taylor a few times. I've been Taylor help a few people Neely. That's what I've been a few times in my life. I have not certainly been the most helpful person in the universe. I don't volunteer my time, but sometimes I've been a nice boy. Giving, and I'll have like the sandwich I made for lunch, going from job to job, and a homeless person, I'll just give them that sandwich. I get more satisfaction. I get more out of, I feel like I was more helpful giving them a sandwich I made. Because maybe it's like, oh, I put work into this thing. I think it's like when you hand make a gift for someone or make them a card or paint them a picture or work hard on a gift, put a lot of thought and time and effort into it. For me, there's more gratification, satisfaction, and joy instead of just like, hey, here's $60, enjoy. Even though I did give my brother Garrett $60 recently via Venmo, but he moved to Denver. He needs that money for what he needs it for. Just please don't buy cocaine. There's fentanyl in cocaine. So I don't know. Maybe I do get karma points. That'd be fine. That'd be great. I'd be happy with that. I like rewards for doing the right thing. I like that. I'm not saying, I don't know if I'll ever be in a place of like a Buddhist monk place where I can just be like, here's my plate of spaghetti. I wasn't going to eat it. Because I'm in the park eating spaghetti and a homeless guy comes up to me and I was really looking forward to this plate of spaghetti because there's a meatball on top of it, fresh Parmesan shredded. But then this homeless guy comes and says, hey man, okay, I'm not going to do a specific voice. Hey man, I'm so hungry. Can I have that? Like, take my plate of spaghetti. I didn't want it. I just ate it. It was really more of a snack for me anyways. Not going to be hungry later at all. I promise. I swear. You can take this. Not that, it's not like I don't have any leftover spaghetti in my apartment or anything, and now I'm going to have to make plans for dinner. But you take it. Go ahead. You take this. Get it out of my sight before. Why are you eating it in front of me? So, roof. So, doing that thing with Lainey. Yeah, she interviewed me, pulled a lot of stuff out of me. Like my words were guts, and she reached down and pulled my words out of my guts. Ha ha ha. Crazy girl. Man, girls are nuts. It's good to be here, though. This is nice. I'm enjoying this episode. I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun, too. I don't know who listens to this, but views on or downloads on the episodes have like doubled I checked last night, and they went up compared to where they were before. So great, wonderful. Let's keep doing it. I could check the stats on where people are viewing. Actually, let's do it right now. Let's see where people are viewing the episode. Okay, let's go on the computer. Oh, gotta go over here, but we pull this up here, and we go to my podcast, Taylor Neely Show, and then we go to stats. So all-time downloads, 79 downloads. Wow. That's great. Okay, well, let's go to locations. Look at this. All episodes. We've got 69 in North America. Hey. 69. Sexy. In the Netherlands. 9 downloads in the Netherlands. What the hell? Ooh. 1 in the United Kingdom. Very cool. Wait a minute. Oh, that's it. Rats. Let's see what's going on. Roopville, Georgia. Well, tell me what city. It's not going to let me know. Oh, Belfast. Huh. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Columbus, Ohio. I wonder who that could be. Birmingham, Alabama. Kennesaw, New York. Roopville, Georgia. Very interesting, guys. Very interesting cities. 13 total cities. That's great. I don't know who's listening. Well, if you're my European listener, I love you. I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you for... it's probably because I made the episode Schrodinger's Snake. The last one was episode 9, Schrodinger's Snake, with the great and wonderful Nathan Driver. Who knows? But maybe they're digging it in the Netherlands. Who cares? Who gives a heck? I am grateful for each and every one of you that listens to this podcast. It's a fun time. We get to just mess around and goof off. And I want to pull this back over here because it was a great background to have. And bingo, bongo, boongo. We're rocking. We're rolling. We're giving each other kisses in spirit. But Lainey interviewed me. And, we were talking about my comedy, and I do like a weirder style of comedy. I just like weirder jokes. Okay, like for instance, watch this. Here's a good for instance. Okay, so here's a good for instance. This box has topics from a lot of riffraffs I've done in the past, and it will kind of like just maybe demonstrate like my sensibilities. I don't know. I'm not trying to give like look how funny I am. Look how weird my mind is. No, I'm just trying to. My experience of doing comedy is, I've noticed that males here. I just like to do I find weirder alternative jokes funny. Not even alternative, because alternatives like, I'm doing. Oh, I went to the bank today and I was like, this isn't a lobster, red lobster. Like that. That's a horrendous joke. If you ever do it, you might be an alternative comedian if you're on stage pretending you're on the subway. So, but I was talking to Lainey about, I tend to err on the side of being silly and stuff being more abstract and just big silly ideas. And there's a booker in town saying, like, he was on mushrooms watching my set at Star Bar once, the one of two I've done. And then he said he was on mushrooms, and then he was saying to Ben Brown, he was like, I get it now. And I'm like, there's nothing to get. There's nothing specific to get with my comedy. I'm just trying to be silly and have a good time. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything specific. I'm not like someone, I think Ben Brown, shout outs Ben Brown, love you, buddy. But he was like, yeah, it took me a minute to get you, but once I got it, I got it. And again, I'm just like, I'm not trying to do something that people need to get. I'm not trying to have people get me or get my thing. I'm just doing my thing, and it's fun to do, and it's silly, and we're having fun. That's it. But I was saying to Lainey, like, it doesn't mean anything. She's like, but it does mean something. I think there's something very deep there. And I was like, you are right. There is something deep there. And the deepness is not in, like, I think I'm doing something special. I think I'm doing something that's worth... Everyone needs to see this crazy style of comedy I've figured out. But to me, it does mean something. Being silly and abstract, when I'm messing... True friends, my relationships are... The bedrock of a lot of those relationships are the ability to just be silly with one another. Last week at Limerick, the late night mic, I leaned into my friend AJ to say something, and he leaned in, and then I was going to say something, but then I gave him a kiss on the cheek, and he laughed so hard, and that is the essence of something so silly to me. That is right there. That captures lightning in a bottle for me of what my sensibilities are. If I can get my friend to laugh just from a little smooch on the cheek, that's comedy to me. That is so funny to me. So there's nothing to get. There's nothing. I'm not trying to do something special. So here we go. Tonight's episode, these are topics from previous riff rafts, and maybe it'll give you, and I get riff rafts with a T. Tonight's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp and Blue Chew. Well, that one's not that great. We'll find a good one. No, that one's not good. There we go. Mission Impossible, but this time Tom Cruise's head is backwards and he walks around like he just shit himself. So that's just insane. It's fun, but it's good. It's a good picture of Tom Cruise with his head backwards and he walks around like he just shit himself. Mission Impossible, but this time Tom Cruise's head is backwards and he walks around like he just shit himself. That makes me smile. Here we go. I hope you're ready. And shout out to all the people that did it this past weekend. AJ Cagle, Jason Halsey, Reed Pegram, Chris Isabella, Marietta Mendler, Lysandra Vasquez, and Gwen Evans. They all did it. Thank you so much. You made it the best it could be in Savannah at the Wormhole, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Mixing up gold bullion and a chicken bullion cube. So wouldn't that just be embarrassing? Mixing up a gold bullion and chicken bullion cube. You're eating chicken noodle soup. You're like, this doesn't really taste very chickeny. It needs like salt and pepper or something. And then you fish out the gold bullion. Like, there's gold in my chicken noodle soup. That's what that would be like. And so what happens in my show is I have people kind of riff on these things. If sheep were hungry enough, would they eat a person? Like, say the farmer died and stopped feeding them, the sheep food, and they had no other option. So yeah, that really makes you think, doesn't it? Like, if a farmer, he's 75 years old, he's lived a long, good farmer life, he's really built up a good, beautiful farm. something his family's proud of him for, something he's able to pass on to his children. This farm is called the Leibowitz family farm. Leibowitz, kind of a Jewish name, so they're Jewish farmers. That's what they'll be in this world. They're Jewish farmers. Good for them. A very successful farm. Very, very tight. The books aren't cooked. They're good. Like, they are up to date on their tax information. But so say Daddy Leibowitz is he's in the John Deere tractor and he has a heart attack and he falls out, and the entire family is away. They don't live at the farm anymore, and then the sheep get very hungry and they have no choice but to eat everything before the farmer. And they love the farmer. They love him to death. They love him so much. The sheep feel as though they've come to trust and know the farmer because it's a sheep farm, and the sheep know that their wool goes on to make beautiful, beautiful sweaters for underprivileged children in the inner city. And in this inner city, it gets exceptionally cold in the winter, and the only thing that keeps people warm is sheep's wool sweaters. And the farmer dies, and the sheep are like, "Okay, gang, farmer's dead. We have no idea how to get the sheep food out of the sheep food container, so we'll start by eating the barn." And then the sheep eat the barn, and sure, it's probably not good for their teeth and gums, but well, I'll tell you what the sheep are not going to do first is eat the farmer. They're not going to eat the farmer first, like the first thing, but eventually, push comes to shove, they eat the farmer's shoes, they eat the farmer's hat, they eat the farmer's piece of barley he has in his mouth. They eat the farmer's clothes. They eat the farmer's underwear. They chew as much as they can of the farmer's fingernails and his toenails. And they eat off the farmer's hair. And they eat off his eyelashes. And there's not much left for the sheep to really eat besides the farmer. So, what do they eat first? Probably the ears. I bet the ears are probably they're just like, they're cartilage. They probably eat the ears, nose, lips, butt cheeks, penis. That's it. And then they eat all the muscle and skin and organs. And eventually it's just the bones. And then they eat the bones because sheep have strong teeth. Their teeth can handle the bones. But, the sheep didn't want to do this. The sheep didn't really want to eat the farmer. They knew the farmer was a good man and he shouldn't have been given a sheep death. But maybe that's what the farmer wanted. They couldn't ask him because the sheep don't speak English and the farmer does speak English. The sheep speak. Sheep is what the sheep. The sheep speak. They speak sheep. The sheep speak by this sheep store. So that's kind of what happened to the farmer, and that's what you can kind of expect at Riff Raff. Golden, sexy riffs like that. It's a fun time. It's a good time. So thank you everyone who came out to the show. It was really great. What was I going with that? Who cares? I'll pull one more because it's just so fun. Fast Walking and the Furious. So that's just really good wordplay right there. Like Fast and the Furious, but Fast Walking and the Furious. And so, you tell me what there is to get there about Fast Walking and the Furious. You tell me what deeper meaning there is to Fast Walking and the Furious. That's right. There's none. There's none meaning to that there in that piece of paper, what it says. It says what it says, and that's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. There's nothing else to get. What I like, how I like to do comedy on stage, is just so silly. That's it. I'm just trying to be silly. And sometimes it comes across as the more I do comedy, the more I think that is the case most of the time. I think audiences can get it. I think finding your voice or finding my voice or doing my style of comedy in a way that the audience gets on board. It has been tricky, but now I'm in a place where I think audiences get it more than not, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm delusional. Maybe people will never get it. But I think there's an audience out there for it. Who knows? It doesn't matter. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. But how does time tell you? Does time whisper in your ear? Does time scream it to you in your dreams? Does time, while you're driving by and you're going really fast, just like, hey, so that's all you time could get out while you pass it. Your window is down, and time, you're like, I want this really quick. That's really, if that's how time tells you, that's an inefficient way to tell me. Maybe time could write me a letter. Maybe time could leave me a voicemail. Maybe time could write me an email. Maybe time could, how can time tell? Time could tell via smoke signals. Classic hacky joke. Ooh, how do you tell you smoke signals? Maybe time can tell me via the World Wide Web. Maybe time can tell me by the news. Maybe for some reason I'm watching the news. I'm not going to pick one, because if I pick a news station, you guys are going to assume I'm really liberal or super Republican. And I'm neither of those things, and no one's ever going to be able to guess whatever I am. Because in my heart of hearts, I don't know. I don't know what I am politically. I couldn't tell you. I'm not going to tell you which way, whatever way I lean, because I don't feel like it. Here's why I don't really, I talk politics with people here and there, my family, my close friends, but with the regular people I don't know super well, I don't feel like getting into it, because I don't see the point. People are get so up in arms about politics. And that podcast today with what was his name? John. His name was John. John shows this past weekend. The check-in. I see. Where is it? This past weekend with Theo Vaughn. John Vervaeke, if that is his name. He's a philosopher, but he had some really good about just a not meta political, not even like he wasn't not conservative, not liberal. He's a Canadian, so in Canada, politics is just everyone gathers inside their Supreme Court, which is a giant gingerbread house, and you don't have to wear a wig, you have to wear a dress, and that's what the judge does, and the rules are decided there or something. I don't know how Canada does it, but I really liked what he was saying, because I've been watching more political stuff. Russell Brand, I think, is a really good voice, but then I'm watching this, like, this stuff is riling me up. I need to not watch this, and I need to focus more on these, what really, at my core, what are my values? What are they? Because it's really easy for me to see the things I don't like, but it's harder for me to identify the things that I like, that I want a person that's governing me to the qualities I want them to have. Because it's easy for me to pick out the things I don't want them to have, or the things I see currently going on that is a mess. I think Biden, the Democrats in power, are doing a bad job. They don't seem to care about the American public. They seem to care so much about this war in Ukraine that has so many different sides, I'm learning, that there's so much more to everything than I would have ever expected, as nothing is what the news says it is. So I don't really watch the news. I get independent voices, and I like that. I like that there's independent voices out there now. You can just do a podcast like this, put it on YouTube, put it on Rumble, put it on Twitter, X, whatever. But then here's the thing about, I like what Russell Brand says, I'm all for personal freedom. And that's really what I think. I do what you want to do. As long as it doesn't affect me, I don't care what you do. If it doesn't, it's none of my, it goes back to the thing, it's none of my business. I feel like my nose seems a little bit clogged, but it's not. It's just how I'm talking right now. I think it's talking on a podcast is a specific way. As long as you do what you want to do, and I identify with people more than other people, and that's fine. Everyone does. But I'm tired of, he brought up, this is what this guy, John Vervaeke or whatever, he brought up. He was saying that it seems like whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, if you're not that, that side wants to destroy you. You're evil and you need to be destroyed. Like if, say, someone's a Democrat and then they're like, oh, if you're a Republican, you are evil and need to be destroyed. And that's how it is on both sides. Both sides just want to win. They want to win. No one wants to work together. And money has totally corrupted our political system. And so whichever candidate is going to be able to be paid off the most and get so I don't have to pay taxes as whatever. I don't know, but there's just a lot of stuff. I've just been paying more attention to it recently, and it's just obvious that the people in power, either side of the aisle, don't seem to care. That's why I kind of like what RFK says and Vivek Ramaswamy. They seem to care more about America. And I love this country. I love the United States of America. It's a great country. It's an incredible time to live here. There's a lot going on. And that's the thing is, if you don't focus on politics, it's like none of it's happening. And that's beautiful. Because at the end of the day, time will tell. And time will tell you everything will be okay. And that's really what I'm just trying to focus on at the end of the day. Right now, what am I trying to focus on in my life? What am I trying to accomplish in my life right now? I'm trying to be a good boy. First and foremost, be a good boy. Secondly, treat people nicely. And these are in no particular order. I'm just saying things that are coming to mind. Number 2, treat people nicely in the way you want to be treated. And be honest. Tolerance, kindness, love, all these things I've been taught. That's what I love about AA. It's taught me all these things about how to just be a decent person, how to be a decent guy. And my current sponsor I was talking to him about politics, whatever, and he's one way, but then he doesn't really pay attention to the news. I'm like, oh, you can believe what you're going to believe, but you don't have to pay attention to the news to be political. Not even political. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I hate the word political. I feel like I have to walk around on eggshells, and no matter what, I crack the eggshells if I try to talk about it. And that's why I don't do political jokes in comedy, because I couldn't do it. I'm not smart enough. At the end of the day, I'm not smart enough to do it. What else are my values? Clean up after myself. Like if I make a mess, clean it up, maybe try to leave it a little bit better than I found it. Like there's been jobs where clients will be like, oh, I'll get it, don't worry about it. And then I don't clean up the mess I made because I'm not blaming my clients, but I kind of got in the habit of my clients being like, oh, I'm going to clean it up. And then one client got mad at me. I was like, that's a learning lesson right there. It's a learning lesson that you're a jerk because you don't want to clean up my mess. Because if I make a mess, I want someone else to clean it up. What else? What else is a good thing? If you hear an ice cream truck, get excited because that's exciting to hear an ice cream truck. And you know what? I used to hear it when I lived in Clarkston. I heard the ice cream truck a lot more, and I don't hear it around these parts. The ice cream truck doesn't come around these parts because it gets, I don't know. I'm not really in a neighborhood. And, ice cream trucks, they really only reside in neighborhoods. That's the area they live in. It's probably where they have their homes and where they stay is in a neighborhood, because out on the street, Memorial Drive in Atlanta, you can't, I don't know. An ice cream truck's not going to be able to get some sleep if he lived there. Oh, another thing that's important to me is friendships, family. Really finding these close friends and trying to foster and build a relationship that's deeper than, I don't know, it's nice to build relationships with people and have friends. It's nice to have friends. And I have a host of friends. I love having friends. Friends are the best. I have good friends. And friends do that thing um, that speech, everyone should wear sunscreen. I might listen to it on the way to the meeting because sometimes it makes me cry. And I like when things make me cry. And they make me think and make me be grateful for my grandparents. And they make me be so grateful for the life I have right now because my life is good. At the end of the day, my life is good. I get to do what I want when I want. And I still, and not in a selfish way, but I live in a country where I'm free to run my own business. And I get to do a podcast and try to be an entertainer, and I get to go visit my family when I want to, and I get to go to my friend's lake house. I get to go see my friend Blake in October, and we're gonna go to a gun show. It's like I'm free to own a gun and shoot a gun and protect myself with a gun if God forbidding I need to. These are things that I'm allowed to do, and there's so much just to be grateful for. There's friends, the sunscreen thing. There's friends will come and go. And they have. I've had friends that are not really my friends anymore, but friends will come and go. But the select few you want to keep around forever and recognize those friendships. Because I think everyone gets the opportunity to have friends like that. And that's my friend Blake. I'm going to go visit in October. He's one of my closest friends in the entire world. My two brothers, Keith and Garrett, they're my best friends in the entire world. And they will be for their... God, it's so great to have a brother as a friend. It's so great to not only have a brother, but one that is also my friend. That is something that I get emotional about sometimes. Like, wow, I'm so lucky to have the brothers I have. The smart, good brothers I have. They're good boys. Much better boys than I've ever been in my entire life. I'm the bad boy of the family. They've been good. Keith, especially, Garrett's a little bit more rebellious, but Keith has been a good boy since day one. He's been good. He is such a good soul, and I love him. I love Keith so much. I love Garrett so much. I love that I'm blessed and just lucky to have the family I do. I'm so lucky to have the family I do. They're good. They're good people. My grandparents are good people. My parents are good people. And I love them. And I'm so lucky to have them in my life. And that isn't something I realized when I was young. It's not something I was privy to as a young kid. Because I was focused on kid shit. And then I was trying to get fucked up and get drunk and smoke weed. And that's why I'm grateful I'm an alcoholic. Because I don't know if I'd be able to have the perspective I have about life, about having a good family without alcohol and drugs totally ripping my, just sending me to a place of ultimate despair and shame and wanting to die, and coming back from that and being in a place where I can see what the important things are in my life. I'm grateful for that. I'm eternally grateful for that, because you don't get that from not living experiences. You don't get that from a book. Maybe a book will tell you that, but some things you got to learn on your own. And what I've learned on my own is having a family and being a productive, happy member of my family is way better than any drink I'll ever take, way better than any crack I'll ever smoke. That is fleeting, and that feeling it turns horrendous so quickly. And it gets dark so quickly, but a family I can rely on and depend on and call my mom any day of the week I want to, call my dad, brothers, any day of the week I want to, and talk to them about fucking nothing. I can call them and talk to them about nothing. And it's still the most important conversation I had that day because I'm talking to someone I love so deeply. That's what I love about being in a relationship with someone. Not like a sex relationship, like a parent, a sibling, an uncle, a grandparent, being able to call and just talk about nothing at all. And that's still a deep, important conversation. That's beautiful. So, oh, man, I enjoyed this episode. This was nice. The end was, sorry to get a little, I don't even know what that end was, but it felt good to get out. Felt good to say. I hope everyone, I hope you go home and get some rest, because it's a big day tomorrow. Go home, get some rest. Big day tomorrow. Guys, thank you so much for listening to Taylor Neely Show. I'm having fun doing this. I'll keep doing it. I hope you're having fun listening. I don't know who's listening. Hey, you guys in Netherlands, man, I love you. I love you boys or girls. But you know what? To me, everyone's a boy. Man, you boys are sweet for listening to me. I can't thank you enough for listening to me in the Netherlands. I hope everyone has a good rest of their week. I hope all your wildest dreams come true. I hope your wishes are granted. And you don't get a splinter anytime soon that goes too deep and it's hard to get out. I hate those. I love you. Bye-bye.